You know, after she lost the debate, as feminists very often do these days, because they don't have facts on their side, you know, she turned around and she did what feminists always do, which is confect a sob story. Now, Kate is, like me, a professional provocateur, but only one of us plays the victim afterwards.
What do you think is like the primary blind spot that guys have about this movement? What is it that we're not seeing?
I think the word is really difficult because it seems to inherently suggest a preferential treatment of the feminine over the masculine because it has the feminine in the word.
Rather than just basic fairness.
Rather than just gender, just gender equality across the board. This isn't girls are better than boys, boys are better than girls.
I do try to stay away from the subject of Hillary because I don't want to be the subject of an unfortunate bus accident in the next few days. I mean, I understand people who reveal embarrassing information about her have a habit of ending up in several pieces on the freeway. Just horrible series of complete accidents.
It's clear, I mean, as anybody who has witnessed three girls fighting over one man can attest, you know, women can't agree on anything, they can't agree on the methods to anything, they can't even run a female liberation movement. Look at the history of feminism. I mean, look how many different definitions of feminism. You're entitled to define it how you want, but other people don't agree with you. Sorry, you don't get the monopoly.
My position is very simple. There are just three genders. There's man, woman, and retarded. This young man is retarded. She does look like a man. And I will never, ever stop saying so, whatever Twitter does.
Why can't you be a feminist and like to put on mascara?
This is a fundamental and complete misunderstanding of what feminism is. Feminism is about equality and it's about choice. It's about a woman being able to say, I'm going to wear a dress, or I don't want to wear a dress, or I want this kind of future, or I don't want that kind of future. And it's about the ability to choose. It really boils down to choice. And I think there's so many misconceptions and misunderstandings about what that is.
The picture you paint is perfectly accurate, or at least it was until perhaps 10, maybe 15 years ago. So only recently. It's changed very recently. I think most people instinctively agree with the equality of opportunity and equality of access for women. They want women to have the opportunity to do anything they want, to rise as high as a man if they're prepared to work as hard and put the same amount of hours in, and of course I agree with that. I think everybody agrees with that. That's not what modern intersectional third wave, as it's called, feminism is about, which seems to me, and I think to a lot of women too, primarily to be about man-hating. It is a very angry, bitter, profane, lesbianic sort of feminism. That
but don't they have a right to be angry, though? I mean,
about what?
As the other.
About what? Do you think women are an oppressed class in America today?
Well, that women don't make, you know, equal money as men. Often,
but the wage gap's a myth.
Same jobs.
The wage gap is a myth.
Is that a myth? I mean,
of course it's a myth.
We hear about this all the time.
Yeah, of course it's a myth. It's one of those feminist myths that won't die. Right. Basically, if you take all of the earnings of men and all of the earnings of women and you do a simple bit of maths, then you'll get something like a 77, right? What this doesn't take into account is the different choices that women make. It doesn't take into account, you know, a variety of factors. No reputable economist takes the wage gap seriously.
There is genuinely a spectrum of amazing feminists out there who have not only given me invaluable advice, but also broadened my perspective and reinforced my belief that we are all linked.
Why are you looking for this racist fucking male that doesn't stand for women's rights? Get the fuck out of here! Fucking dipshit! And get that camera out of my face, either! Fuckwit!
Did you just cough at me?
What?
Did you just cough at me?
No.
Did I hear you cough? Was that you?
I coughed. Yes.
You did? Was it at me?
No.
We've seen seismic shifts in culture recently. I couldn't believe my eyes when I turned on the TV to see that Bud Light was plunging gender equality and equal pay as part of their current advertising campaign.
Bud Light, which I have occasionally been offered at fraternity parties, and of course turned down, ran an ad. Amy Schumer, Seth Rogen, and discovered that in an election year, sales are going down. They're selling less Bud Light, thanks to this cancerous campaign, which we learned this week they've dropped.
We already have some amazing things happening, some amazing female leaders, but I don't know if I would have believed you if you had told me 2 years ago, before I made my he for she speech, that we might have the first female president of the United States. Please don't let me down, America.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President Obama.
I ask you to recommit yourself to be a part of gender equality. I genuinely feel that we are closer to a gender equal world, and certainly closer than we were 2 years ago, and I know that each and every he for she has played such a huge part in that.
Women, I think, really, until very recently, until possibly the last half decade, it was certainly true that women had all kinds of structural disadvantages in society. That simply isn't true anymore. It's not true, for example, when women go for jobs in science, technology and mathematics. A study came out, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago in the US saying that women have a 2-to-1 advantage over men with the same qualifications because everyone's so desperate to hire women. The reality that people experience, going for jobs and in the working life is actually that women are sort of structurally advantaged.
I am proud to have been part of lots of amazing things in my life, but there is nothing that I am prouder of than being part of this.
It's interesting that, that it's even being framed like this at all, because what the research shows, the Pew Global data from 2014 shows, is that actually it's men who get more abuse online than women.
If I were to say I was a feminist, it would be a personal attack on you as a man, as opposed to a patriarchal system or something much larger than an individual person. I think also men think that they can't be feminists. That's a big misunderstanding. Some of the best feminists I know are men.
And of course, beyond the sexodus, some men are retreating into slightly horrendous other things. We have produced another pathetic, monstrous creature as a result of this phenomenon, known as the male feminist. This is about the most depressingly hilarious creation of modern life. A man who hates himself and his fellow man so much that he will say and do and believe literally anything that some dumpy, fat lesbian blogger tells him because he thinks he might get laid. Well, I can tell you the best these guys ever get is an unsatisfying handy in the back of a car. Women don't want this. They don't. Even those eyes, but they don't. They don't. Now, you're unlikely to get laid if you're part of the sexodus, but celibacy is practically guaranteed as a male feminist. Which might be why so many of them turn out to either be virgins, perverts, or both. True. Recognize these guys?
Hello, everyone. Hey, I'm just stopping by to remind you that liberals are insane.